and welcome. Have you ever been asked to speak in public and it made you so nervous, made your teeth sweat? Well, then you have come to the right place, because this right here today is the first inaugural premiere, also the first annual WriteGirl webcast about performance workshops. Yes! WriteGirl! WriteGirl, WriteGirl, WriteGirl. Woohoo! All right, get out of here. We are very excited to welcome you guys to learn some of the secrets of performance and speaking in public. My name is Claire Sarah. I'm going to be hosting you through this magnificent half hour of magnificence. She said, waiting for the first right girl to get to her place and show up. And there she is. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we have a little bit of a problem here, ladies and gentlemen. We have floppy hat syndrome. So if you're going to be speaking in public, you can't be wearing a hat, even if it is as magnificent as this hat. And it is. You do not want a hat that flops over your face, covers your eyes, shields your magnificence from the audience. Get it out of here. The same goes for if you're, say, wearing something like dark sunglasses. You don't want anything covering your face. Or, okay, well, now we have our second gal. Carla just demonstrated why you don't want to have any kind of accessory, such as a shawl or something that's loose and floppy hanging on you. You're going to be fidgeting with it, when what you want to do is be presenting yourself full on with confidence. How would you take care of that floppy shawl, Carla? Well, look at that. She's going to transform it into a stable scarf. Stable scarf, yes. Floppy shawl, no. These are just a few of the tips and the secrets of performance that WriteGirl is going to share with you today. But, and now we have Aisha. She's demonstrating too high of heel. Too high of heel is a common problem with young ladies in our society today, but I'm not going to get into that. Now, Aisha is showing us that even though she's walking very well in it, quite often in high heels, you're walking into a space you don't know, especially if they're new shoes and you're not comfortable in them. You are not going to project the power that you project. Some power, Aisha. Yeah, right? Oh, okay. She's projecting sass. But make sure that your shoes are comfortable. Make sure that your clothes are comfortable. You don't want to have a strap that's going to fall off your shoulder. You don't want to be wearing logos. Think about what you're wearing. Think about how you want to project yourself when you are out there. Now, while we are live on this WriteGirl webcast about secret performance tips, I want to let any of you know that if you don't have the ability to comment, you can make a YouTube/Gmail account in order to do so. If you don't want to do that and you just want to send in your questions, email them to membership@writegirl.org, because we are taking your questions right now live as they are streaming in, and we have already gotten some good ones, so you guys are on it. Oh, what? Well, this just in. The executive director and founder of WriteGirl is in the building. Please welcome Karen Taylor.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you so much. We're really excited. It's our first ever WriteGirl webcast. Hope you're enjoying it. I see all of you out here. I think there's like 20 of you already, maybe 40, 100. I think what's most important about public speaking, which I think should be called public inspiring, is that you really understand that your voice matters. Because in a time like it is right now, we need a lot of different voices. We need you to raise your voice, whether it's in front of a huge audience or at an event or even in the living room with your family, because it doesn't matter where you are. Public speaking, public inspiring is something we really need right now. So we're giving you a lot of tips, but I think I just wanted you to come back to the root reason of why this is important at all, is to help make the world a better place, frankly. That sounds so lofty, but you know what I mean. So I think we might have a WriteGirl here today to give you some additional performing techniques. Here is Samantha Campbell. Hey, Sam.
Hey.
And how long have you been performing?
6 years.
6 years. Oh, I think you might have learned a few things in that time, right? So what have you got for us?
Okay, I have 5 tips for you today. The first one is do a little physical warm-up before you get on stage. Shake out that nervous energy, jump around, do whatever you need to do. That always helps me personally.
Can I see something? Yeah, all right, excellent. Okay, what else?
Okay, the next tip is just breathe. Taking a deep breath in and out always helps to get out the nervous energy, and it might help you speak a little more clearly, which is definitely important when you're reading on stage. And the exhale is really important because it'll help just get your breath really even. Yeah, it's like that. All right, and my third tip is eye contact. You could always look at somebody in the audience, but what I like to do personally is just look at the wall in the back because usually there's so many people that nobody's going to notice anyways, and somebody might actually think you have eye contact with them in the first place. So
That's great. So speak to the back of the room, pretend it's somebody you really care about that's way in the back of the theater.
yeah. Okay, my fourth tip is really simple. Just smile. It helps people feel welcome. It helps you feel comfortable. Everybody wins.
Can I see one of those? Nice one. Okay, what else you got?
And then my fifth tip is just have fun. You only read so many times in your life. Have fun with it.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. Oh, cool. So many things to think about. I mean, having fun is such a great point. Oh, hey, hi. Oh, I'm bringing back Claire because that's just the beginning. Claire has so much more. What you got?
I have some more performance tips, Karen Taylor. So it's the big day, and here you have the microphone in front of you. Microphone is your friend. The mic stand is your friend. Make sure you get it to the right height and just do it like nobody would even notice that that's what you're doing, just like that. Now, if you start to talk and you got this kind of an attitude, that's not going to work. First of all, you want to stop your slouching, pull your shoulders back, stand up straight, face the audience right on, be confident in what you're saying. Who would not want to listen to you now? Secondly, what's another thing that we do quite a bit? I'm trying to remember the other performance. There's a habit that so many of us do of, oh yes, fidgeting. So fidgeting, it's second nature to all of us when we're up in front of an audience. So try to just take a breath, stop your fidgeting. Don't touch your face. Don't pull out yesterday's gum. Get rid of that backstage. Leave it on like a friend or something. And then say what you have to say, still and calm. A calm and still performer is not a boring performer. She is riveting you with her voice. Another problem that a lot of us have when we start talking is mumbling, such as, we're not doing that as a question. Oh, and I'm going to get a piece of paper to demonstrate something. You won't even notice that I'm gone. There, just like that. See, that's how easily you can control situations like this. So if you are reading from a piece of paper and you are mumbling and your face is down or your face is in the paper, nobody cares, nobody can see you. Everybody wants to see your face. Hold the paper up so it's up nice and high so that when your eye goes to it, you are still presenting yourself. You are speaking clearly. This brings us to the last point, which is talking too fast, which I even did at the beginning of this webcast. I can't, if you run it back, you'll see. So you want to speak much slower than you think you want to speak. You may be afraid that you are being boring, but once again, not being heard is much more boring than being clearly heard with what you're saying. Speak slowly, speak clearly, believe in what you're saying, say it with purpose. To be or not to be, that is the question. The answer is you are going to be a great performer. All right, that's enough of that. Now you get to have the enjoyment of Kirsten Giles, ladies and gentlemen. Kirsten Giles.
Thanks, Claire. So I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about what you can do before the day of the show, things you can do to practice at home. So the first thing that I like to do is make sure I have a space in my house that can be my stage and an audience. I like a window, a bookshelf, maybe just a row of stuffed animals, something that can serve as your audience in your imagination. The next thing I like to do is to try reading what I'm going to read or say a lot of different ways. I could do it really fast. I could do it really happy. I could do it really angry, or I could do it really slowly. And what happens when you perform a few different ways like that is that you'll start to find little places where you can add dynamics or excitement or drama in what you're going to deliver. The next thing I want to remind you is to use those vocal dynamics. Nobody wants to hear you speak monotone. So when you're lively and you have lots of inflections and ups and downs, people will pay attention. And then one more thing that you need to remember. we all have a recording device. You have a phone, you have your laptop. Turn it on, get a really great version of what you're going to be performing, and then just put it in your earbuds and listen to it all day. It's a lot like your favorite song. You'd be surprised how quickly you won't have to memorize it. You'll just learn all the words. So those are my tips for how to get ready well in advance of your show. Now, I think we're going to take some questions, aren't we? So let me get the girls up here because they have some questions. You guys have been chatting in your questions. Thank you so much for sending those in. Who has the first question? Clara.
So the first question that we got was, what happens if you mess up on stage? Well, that's a good question. You pretend like you meant to do it. Like, I totally did that. Like,
I love that. That's great. All right, Aisha.
Hi. Okay, so another question is, what do I do if I'm reading and I have a coughing fit and can't stop? I would say go ahead and stop, take a breath, make a little joke out of it, and then keep going.
That's fantastic. I have more questions. Oh, great. Claire?
How do I set up a website?
I think that's a different podcast or video cast, live cast. Come on in here, Samantha.
All right. How do you prevent your voice from shaking when you're on stage? I mean, just take a deep breath. Pretty simple.
That's great. You know, the exhale is a lot more important than the inhale when you have any kind of stage fright or any kind of nerves. Well, hello again, Clara. Do you have another question for us?
hi. So another question that we got was, how do I avoid the intense fear of being judged by the audience? And the simple answer to that is, they aren't judging you. They actually love you up there because you are doing great.
Awesome. We have just a couple more questions. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. Here's another one, Aisha.
Hi. Okay, so someone wants to know, how do I decompress before going on stage? I would say stop, take a deep breath, maybe hum your favorite song, think about your family and friends, and go for it.
Oh, that's great. Claire again.
What's the best way to write a novel?
One word at a time. Okay. Karen?
So this one is asking, my hands get really shaky and it's embarrassing when I'm holding a piece of paper. How do I prevent that? So index cards are great because they're a little bit stronger, but you can also tape the piece of paper inside like a book and then it won't shake. You won't see the shaking so much, but you know, you can't sometimes stop that. So just kind of go with it.
That's a really good tip, Karen. We have just a few more. Samantha.
All right. Do you ever feel silly or embarrassed while performing? How do you get over that? I don't usually personally, but in order to get over that, I don't know. I just move on.
You be you? How about you be you? Okay, great. Clara?
So this question says, my voice is naturally quiet. How do I project more? Well, if you're tired of being told to speak from your diaphragm, making your voice a little lower can make you project a bit more, which I've found really helps.
All right. So that concludes our question segment for this morning. Stick around if you're in the second half. We have another Q&A coming up. I think what we're going to do right now is transition. So let me bring up Karen Taylor again. Karen, any last words on this first part of our webcast?
That was really fantastic. Oh my gosh, so many great tips. You guys did all so great. I hope they're helpful for whatever situation you find yourself in. Because, you know, even if you're not going to be doing public speaking in front of a huge audience, you're going to be doing presentations at school, at your job. Who the heck knows what might come up in your life. So hopefully these were all really fun. So we would like to say that no matter what, you're perfect just the way you are. So it's always good to remember that, you know, you just need to relax basically and have fun, like Samantha said. So we're going to transition into the second half and we're going to focus on the June 22nd upcoming event for WriteGirl. It's Saturday, June 22nd at the Writers Guild of America Theater in Beverly Hills, and everybody is welcome. It's a community event and there are a few things that we should know. One of them is that this is an event to celebrate a whole year of WriteGirl. So it's a culmination event. All of the girls that are attending will be reading on stage. And I'm going to get to more about that in a second. Family and friends are being invited. There's a free lunch by Sharky's, a dessert reception, a raffle, special guests. It is also a book preview event. Oh my gosh, it's very exciting. Right this minute, as we speak, the book is getting printed. It's been a labor of love, and 180 girls are in this new book. So we'll be giving out preview copies of the new book on this event. And we will be giving gift bags for girls. So there's another good reason to come. So we hope you RSVP, girls. If you haven't done that yet, please do. The RSVP is really important. We need a head count. And everybody's been asking, what am I reading? What am I reading, right? That's the big question, right? So if we had every girl read a piece, imagine 100 girls, I think we'd be there till like after midnight or worse. So we always do this every year. Seniors, if you're a high school senior, guess what? You're reading a piece on stage. We will have the book there. You can read right from the book. And you're like, well, I don't know what piece you picked for the book. Haha, it's a surprise. When you get there, you will open the book to the index. You'll find your name. You'll find your piece. And that's what you're reading for the event. So seniors, you're covered. Everybody else, it's a bit of a mystery. You will find out that day what you're reading. You should come prepared with a writing tip, a piece of writing advice, because half of the remaining girls will be reading a piece of writing advice, which is so great because the audience wants to know all this stuff you've been learning at WriteGirl anyway. So it's not a booby prize to read a writing tip. It's actually something that the audience is very grateful for, because it's hard to hear a lot of creative writing pieces in a row. So half of you will be reading something from the book, and half of you will be reading a piece of writing advice. And if you can write it in advance, great. And if not, we're going to give you one of these fabulous index cards, and you can write it at the event itself. So I know it's like weird, right? You go to an event, you don't know what you're going to read on stage until you get there, but that's kind of the magic of WriteGirl. Everything's a little bit more spontaneous when it's that way. So there are some logistics around this event. I'm going to bring up Kirsten, our curriculum director, workshops coordinator, magician, and she is going to help you through the logistics of getting on stage, getting off stage on June 22nd. Here's Kirsten.
Thanks, Karen. I actually have a human easel with me today. Come on in here, Clara. Clara and I worked on this today. What I did here is I recreated for you the Writers Guild of America theater so that we could look at the different choreography and how to move around up and down on the stage. If you've never done it before, it's a little bit complicated, but you'll get the hang of it pretty quick. All right, so here's our stage. It has a little curved edge up at the front. There are 5 microphones here and 2 hosts. That's where our hosts will be sitting. Along this side of the stage, which is technically stage right, that's where all of our mentees will be sitting. Now, let's take a look at how they get up and down on the stage. There's a little step right here. And what they'll do is you're the green boxes if you didn't catch that. You'll come up in a line and you'll go up on the right-hand side of the step. As you move across the stage, this person who's first in line needs to go straight to the microphone. Everyone else will kind of be about 3 or 4 feet behind their microphone. But that first person, that little red no sign means do not stop, do not collect $200, do not pass go, go straight to your microphone. When that person's done, they'll step backwards and the next person steps forward. And we'll show you when you're in the theater how to do that in perfect unison. And the next person steps up while the second person steps backward. The 4th person steps up. I think you're getting the hang of it now. And the last person goes up to the mic and speaks. But we see that no sign again, don't we? Which means this person doesn't step backward. What this person does is they lead the charge off stage. So there's everyone following her off stage. And notice she's on the right-hand side. It's just like any staircase. When we go up and down big staircases at school or in office buildings, we usually stay to the right-hand side. So we'll go down on the right and a new group will come up on the right. So that is our blocking and tackling. Thank you so much, Clara. I just have a couple more things that I want you to keep in mind. One of them is not to say thank you. When you're finished reading your piece, let those last words have closure. Let them be the end and just give the audience a big smile like I just did. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is that we want you, when you're not performing, to look at the person who is. Claire, why don't you step in and demonstrate? We'll have Claire watch me perform. That's not what I meant, Claire. So keep an eye on the person who's performing, and that way everyone else in the audience will too. So I have a feeling Claire's going to do something next besides just crack me up. Claire, take it away.
Thank you, Kirsten. That was fabulous. I hope you guys are enjoying this because these tips are kind of amazing today. This is just going to make a perfect June event and life in general. So we are going to wrap up with a few announcements, and I'm going to need a little bit of help with this. So our announcements, and let me read to you without fidgeting and with standing straight and my paper in front of me. First of all, bring your guest to the WriteGirl event. What does that exactly mean, Sam?
All right, bring your guest. Well, you can bring as many guests as you want to this event. It's absolutely free. Just RSVP. Oh, okay, girls can bring as many guests. Breaking news. Yeah, you can just RSVP as many guests as you're going to bring, and if that number changes at any time, make sure you send in a new RSVP. And when they get there, make sure they tell whoever is responsible for that they are with a mentee.
Yeah. And did you see how she read that? She was perfectly still and she held her paper up and away from her face. We're doing so good. All right. Dress for celebration. Aisha, show how to read and read.
Excellent. So this is a celebration, so please dress up. Perhaps the best way to describe it is to dress like you're going to graduation. No jeans, no shorts, no bare midriffs. Make sure you wear shoes that you can comfortably walk in. There are a few steps on the stage. So if you can comfortably walk in heels, wear them. If not, wear what you like, girls.
Ooh, yeah. Well, not that floppy hat. All right. And our event will be, I'm going to say be a good audience member. Do we have someone to? Yes, be a good audience member. Carla is going to explain this.
So, what does that mean? You gotta pay attention. You gotta clap when people finish. You can laugh out loud if you really want to, but no heckling. It hurts our feelings. Good audience members are contagious. And they will see how other people start to behave and become just like you. So you need to set a wonderful example. Plus, when you are on stage, you will appreciate a good audience as well. Please, please, please plan to attend both the first half and the second half of the event. We know you wouldn't want to see empty seats during your performance.
Wow, nicely done, Carla. Did you see that? Eye contact, paper away, standing in one place. All right, our work here is done. All right. Finally, this event is going to be held at the Writers Guild Theater in Beverly Hills. I believe we've already mentioned that and where it is. So finally, we have a little bit of actual scheduling for the day that you might want to know about. And I'm going to give this over to Karen Behind the Scenes Taylor.
So you can see that you need to be there at 11:45 a.m. sharp, girls. All mentees need to show up at 11:45 a.m. We know that's early, but we need time with you. You need to be able to rehearse so you know how to get on stage, get off stage. We want to give you your book. We want to give you a chance to digest what you're going to be performing because, as we said, you will learn what you're performing when you arrive at the theater. Then your parents should go away, drop you off and go away somewhere, and then come back for 1 o'clock because the doors open to the theater at 1 o'clock. They can come in, they can enjoy the raffles, some beverages, there'll be a selfie station. And then at 2 o'clock, we're going to give you a break, of course, before 2 o'clock. So you can go out into the lobby and get a drink and meet your parents and all that good stuff and do the selfie station yourself. And then by 2 o'clock, we start the show on stage live. So there'll be a first half and then a lunch. Intermission by Sharky's is providing lunch. And then we will do a second half. There'll be some special guests. I'm not telling you who they are, but it's very exciting. And then there is a dessert reception at 4:30 in the lobby. Some sweet stuff, some treats to just celebrate and congratulate everybody for an amazing season. So that is it. We have more questions. So let's take a few more questions. What have we got?
All right. So, one of our questions is, I like my presentations to be organic and spontaneous. In the spirit of my writing, do I still need to practice or rehearse? And my answer is yes, definitely. Because if you go up there and you haven't practiced, you might not even know what you're looking at. It'll be easier to get lost in your writing and lose your place. And so by practicing, you will know your material well enough that you can make it seem organic and spontaneous because you'll know what you're doing.
Excellent. Thank you. And when you speak from the heart, it just flows. I always know that for me, that when I'm really saying something that I care about, it's so much easier.
Okay, next question. To avoid stumbling with what you're reading, is it best to memorize your piece? I would say definitely know it as much as possible, but I wouldn't put so much pressure on trying to memorize it. Just, connect with what you're saying, remember why you wrote it, and go ahead and read it.
Awesome. Great, great, great. Samantha, come on up.
All right. How do you know what's appropriate to share on stage? Okay, well, this is an all ages event, so no mentions of murder, no cursing, none of that, no explicit material. It's pretty simple.
It is a family event. We know we'll have some young siblings there, so we're always conscious of that. At a Write Girl workshop, there's a lot more, like, we can say anything and we can share all these kinds of, stories, but we want to be sensitive that this is a real family audience at this event. Oh, what have we got, Kirsten?
I have a couple of technical questions, really good ones too. So the first one is, what happens if the mic cuts out while I'm performing? Do I wait for someone to help, or do I carry on? In the case of this event, the hosts are going to be right there next to you. First of all, we do a terrific job of sound checking at the beginning of the day, and we have a sound engineer on duty the whole show. So it shouldn't happen. But if it did, one of your hosts would probably go ahead and hold for technical difficulties so that you could start again. The other question that I got was, do I have to adjust the mic? So for everyone who's above or below the average height of 5.4, 5'4", no, the answer is no. We will have someone in the front row keeping an eye out for you height challenged and height generous folks, and we'll move the mic for you. So those are my questions.
Awesome. That's great. The Writers Guild Theater is so awesome. They're going to do all the sound and projection, and it's a great theater. You're going to love it. Do you go right into reading, or do you introduce yourself? Oh, such a great question, right? It is really so great if you take a second to say, hi, I'm, Jane Doe, and I'm going to be reading a poem that I wrote for my mom, or I wrote this while I was at the Huntington, like all the great stuff you wrote at the Huntington. Just give the audience something, just really short, but just some little intro to what you're going to say. Otherwise, all we get is this, and they don't see your face. So just don't write it down. Just go up there and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm going to be reading something about this, or I was inspired to write this because of. So remember to do that. That's really, really important. It makes such a difference to the whole event. What else we got?
All right. So my question that I got was, how can you emphasize what you're saying so you don't bore the audience? And now that's a very interesting question. And what I'd say is, in my performances, I like to shake things up a little, like change your accent on occasion, just so that they keep paying attention. If you keep the audience on their toes, they'll probably pay attention. You can even do this by slowing down how you're speaking and all sorts. So experiment, see what works.
Awesome. Sounds great. Aisha.
Hi. Okay, next question. Is there anything good to eat or drink before a performance? I like to have a little bit of chamomile tea with some honey and plenty of water. You don't want to be too full, but you don't want to be super hungry either. So make sure you have a snack and stay away from dairy if possible, because it'll make you sound like that, which we do not want.
Okay, Kirsten. Hi, what you got?
So it's asking, will we be reading our own piece, or is there a chance we're reading someone else's?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You're going to read your own piece, because it's really nice when the audience gets to hear from the author themselves, the person that actually wrote that piece. So there may be some special guests that will read pieces by girls who are not there, because that's a great opportunity to shine a light on some of the girls writing who can't come to the event. But as for you, you're going to read your own writing tip, or you're going to read a piece from the book, and we're going to tell you when you get there. One more.
All right. My question is, what's the best type of music to listen to get pumped before you perform? And personally, I just think you should listen to whatever gets you jazzed. I might listen to some synth pop. Maybe you like disco. I don't know. Maybe listen to some metal. That might work.
Great. Anything goes, whatever kind of music you love. Oh my gosh. Well, we have one more question. They're writing it down. It's coming in a second. So Claire, what a fantastic webcast this has been, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Don't you love her? What have you got, Clara?
What's the easiest way to connect with a piece? Well, I'd say getting yourself in a sort of way where you can understand the emotional state in it. I usually listen to music that fits with the piece, connecting to that earlier thing. But yeah, I'd say, read through the piece, put yourself in the piece, just sort of try and align yourself, I guess.
Yeah, I think also just really focusing on the words, because the words are going to help you connect with the piece and help your audience connect with the piece. Because it's, especially at this event, all about language. This is really, you don't have to perform it in a wild way or do any dramatic reading or anything different. You don't want to drone, obviously, like ma, 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 but you also don't want to do some crazy performance thing. Just connect with the words and say it slowly. Enjoy your moment on stage and really connect with the piece and the audience. And if you have nerves, just use them. Use that energy to drive you forward. Don't be trying to stop your nerves. That's not going to happen. Just let that energy say, welcome, nerves, and let that energy really carry you forward.
That is great advice. And as Karen said at the very beginning, everybody here really wants to hear from you. And what you have to say matters. It's important to us. We are so excited to hear your every word. Well,
we want to thank everybody for the webcast today. Kirsten Giles. We've got Katie Geyer, there's Samantha Campbell, Clara Sirla, Aisha Holden, Lindsay Mendoza, Sally Mercedes, Morgan Radford,
Karen Taylor,
Claire, Sarah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Now, if you want to watch this again, go ahead and check us out on the Right Girl channel on YouTube. And while you're there, what do they want to do? Subscribe. All right.
Oh, wait, there's a writing activity.
Oh, there is a writing activity. All right. Well, we would not be Right Girl without a writing activity.
Which is?
We have I've totally forgotten it.
We just thought we'd leave you with a writing activity. It's never Right Girl without a writing activity. So it's about my voice matters because ... So start with that, keep going, use that as an opportunity to write about why your voice matters.
Your voice matters. Now, finally, we end with never underestimate the power of a girl